The necklace had been my grandmother's, white gold with 3 small diamonds, delicate and understated. Not flashy, just beautiful. I wore it every day. My sister-in-law, Julia, had always made comments. Still wearing that old thing? Small digs wrapped in false concern. The family dinner was at my brother Mark's house for Mom's birthday. Julia greeted me with an air kiss and a once-over. "Oh, you wore that necklace again. Sweet how sentimental you are." Her daughter Laylee, 15, stood behind her, scrolling through her phone. The dining room looked like a magazine spread. Julia's 3 children sat on one side, Mom at the head. "So, Aunt Claire," Lily said, "Mom says you work in accounting, financial consulting. Same thing. Do you make good money?" "Lily," Mark said, without conviction. "What? She dresses so plain. I just wondered." Julia laughed lightly. Not everyone values appearance the same way. Some people are more practical. Dinner continued with Julia discussing Laylee's acceptance to the Metropolitan Dance Academy, one of the most prestigious programs in the state. "The tuition is substantial," Julia said, "but we do anything for our children's dreams." "How much?" Mom asked. 50,000 a year, for 3 years. I said nothing, just ate and listened. After dinner, we moved to the living room for cake. I was by the window when Lily appeared beside me. "That's pretty," she said, gesturing toward my necklace. "Thank you. It was my grandmother's." "Really? Mom says it's from the flea market, that you can't tell real from fake." Lily tugged at the necklace. "It does look cheap." "Lily, don't pull." She yanked harder. The clasp snapped. The necklace fell. Lily caught it. "Oops, it broke." She sounded amused, not sorry. Julia appeared. "What happened?" "Aunt Claire's necklace broke. I barely touched it. Must have been old and fragile." "Like from the flea market?" one of her brothers added. The kids laughed. Julia's smile was sympathetic but satisfied. "Oh, Claire, time for a new one anyway, something more modern." Mark came over. "Was it expensive?" "We can replace it." "It's fine," I said quietly. "Are you sure? Because if it's from—" He caught himself. "If it's not valuable, we don't need to worry about it." Mom was watching from the couch, confused by the undercurrent she could sense but not define. I took the broken necklace from Lily's hand. The teenager was already back on her phone, the incident forgotten. "No," I said. "We don't need to worry about it." Julia clapped her hands. "Cake time. Let's celebrate Mom." Everyone moved to the dining room. I stayed by the window, holding my grandmother's broken necklace, listening to them laugh and chat as if nothing had happened. After cake, after presents, after Mom blew out her candles and gave a little speech about family, I left. Julia walked me to the door. "Thanks for coming," she said. "And really, don't worry about the necklace. It's just jewelry. Memories are what matter." "You're right," I said. "Memories are what matter." I drove home and made tea. Then I opened my laptop. The first email went to Margaret Wells, Director of Admissions at the Metropolitan Dance Academy. "Dear Margaret, regarding the scholarship for Lily Morrison, student id 2847, I'm withdrawing my funding effective immediately. Please process termination of the 3-year commitment. This decision is final and permanent." Margaret and I had met at a fundraising gala 3 years ago. We discussed private donor sponsorships. I'd endowed a 3-year scholarship for Lily, 50,000 per year, paid quarterly, listed as academic merit scholarship. Julia and Mark never questioned how she qualified. The second email went to Mark, copying Julia. "Lily's scholarship at the Metropolitan Dance Academy has been discontinued. The donor withdrew funding this evening. The Academy will contact you about payment. Tuition due within 30 days or enrollment terminates." I hit send and closed my laptop. Mark called 20 minutes later. "Claire, the Dance Academy just called. Lily's scholarship is canceled?" "Yes." "Do you know what happened?" That's unfortunate. Unfortunate? The tuition is $50,000 a year. We can't afford that. We budgeted around the scholarship, Julia's car payment, the pool renovation, your boat. That's not the point. Then what is? Silence. Then, was it you? Were you the donor? Does it matter? If you were paying, we should have thanked you. Could you? Would you have? More silence. Julia said some things tonight, he finally admitted. About your necklace. About you. They weren't kind. No, they weren't. And Lily broke it. She did. So this is revenge? You're punishing a 15-year-old girl because of a broken necklace? I'm withdrawing financial support from someone who was taught to disrespect me. There's a difference. She's a child. She's old enough to know cruelty. Old enough to laugh while breaking something precious. Old enough to call it cheap while her mother smirked. It was an accident. It was carelessness, enabled by your wife's contempt and your silence. I could hear Julia in the background, demanding to know what was happening. Claire, please. Lily loves that academy. It's her dream. Then you'll find a way to pay for it. Sell the boat. Refinance the house. Figure it out like everyone else does. We can't. You said you'd do anything for your children's dreams. Now you get to prove it. This is cruel. Is it? More cruel than mocking someone's financial status? More cruel than teaching your daughter that her aunt is poor and tasteless? More cruel than laughing while she destroys an heirloom? Mark had no answer. The necklace, I continued, was appraised at $18,000. White gold, 3/4 carat diamonds, Art Deco period. My grandmother bought it in 1945 with money she'd saved working in a factory during the war. It's been in our family for 80 years. 18,000. Julia called it a flea market trinket. Lily broke it because she was taught I wasn't worth respecting. And you said nothing. I didn't know. You didn't ask. You assumed. Just like you assumed Laylee's scholarship came from her merit alone. Just like you assumed I was poor because I don't flaunt wealth. Julia grabbed the phone. Claire, this is insane. You can't destroy Laylee's future over a necklace. I'm not destroying anything. I'm simply no longer funding it. We can apologize. Laylee can apologize. We'll replace the necklace. With what? You can't afford $50,000 for tuition you thought was covered. How will you afford an $18,000 necklace? That's not fair. What's not fair is spending 3 years secretly funding your daughter's dream while you mock me at family dinners. What's not fair is watching her break something precious because you taught her I was beneath her. I never said you were beneath us. You said I had plain taste because I don't make real money. You said I couldn't tell real from fake. You called my grandmother's necklace a flea market trinket. Lily just believed you. Silence. Then, how did you know I said those things? She told me, right before she broke the necklace. Mom says it's from the flea market. Mom says you can't tell real from fake. Your words delivered by your daughter, moments before she destroyed something irreplaceable. Julia's breath was shaky. I didn't mean. I was just. You always seemed so plain compared to. Compared to what? Your appearances? Your renovations? Your lifestyle that you couldn't afford without your daughter's mysterious scholarship. That scholarship was merit-based. That scholarship was me. 3 years, $150,000, paid quarterly, for a niece I loved and wanted to support. Past tense, Mark said, back on the phone. You said loved, past tense. I still love her, but I won't fund someone who treats me with contempt. I won't pay $50,000 a year to educate someone who's being taught I'm worthless. So you'll just let her lose everything. I'm letting her family decide what she's worth. You said you'd do anything for your children's dreams. I gave you 3 years of not having to. Now you get to prove you meant it. I hung up. My phone exploded with texts, Mark begging me to reconsider, Julia alternating between apologies and accusations, even Laylee, suddenly aware of what she'd lost. Aunt Claire, I'm sorry about the necklace. I didn't know it was valuable. Please don't take away my school. I responded once. You didn't know it was valuable, so you felt free to break it. That's the problem. The next morning, Mom called. Mark told me what happened. All of it. All of it. That you were paying for Lily's academy, that you canceled it last night, that Julia said terrible things about you. She did. Why didn't you tell us you were funding Lily's education? Because I wanted to help without credit. I wanted Lily to have opportunities without obligation. That's generous. It was, until it became malevolent. Mom was quiet for a moment. The necklace. Grandma's necklace. Is it really broken? The clasp snapped. It's repairable, but it'll never be quite the same. And Lily just pulled it off your neck. She grabbed it, called it fake, and yanked until it broke, while her brothers laughed and Julia smiled. That's unacceptable. Yes. But Claire, she's 15. She didn't understand. She understood enough to be cruel, to mock, to destroy. She's old enough to face consequences. Consequences that severe? Consequences equivalent to her actions. I invested $150,000 in her future. She broke something irreplaceable because she thought I was too poor to matter. Those consequences feel proportionate to me. Mom sighed. Mark says they can't afford the tuition. Then they'll have to make choices. About boats and cars and renovations. About what actually matters. You're punishing them for underestimating you. I'm withdrawing support from people who treated me with contempt while I was actively helping them. There's a difference. A mother's sigh. When did you become so hard? I'm not hard. I'm done being soft with people who mistake kindness for weakness. That afternoon, I took the necklace to a jeweler Mom knew, an older man who'd been in business for 40 years. He examined it carefully, his magnifying glass catching each detail. Art Deco period, very fine work. The damage is repairable, but it'll leave a mark. The clasp was original. I'll have to remake it in the same style. How much? For you. 1,200, because it's a piece that deserves to be worn. I left it with him and walked out into the afternoon sun. My phone buzzed with another text from Mark. The academy gave us until Friday to pay or Lily's out. Please reconsider. We're family. I typed back, family respects each other. Family doesn't mock each other's belongings. Family doesn't laugh while destroying heirlooms. You taught Lily I wasn't worth respecting. Now you're teaching her that actions have consequences. That's actually good parenting. Friday came, the deadline passed. Mark called Saturday morning. She's out, they withdrew her enrollment. 3 years of training gone. I'm sorry she has to face the consequences of her actions. You're not sorry, you're satisfied. I'm sad, sad that it came to this. Sad that you enabled disrespect until it cost your daughter something she valued. What do you want? An apology? I wanted basic respect. I gave you 3 years of financial support you didn't know about and never questioned. I asked nothing in return except not to be mocked at family dinners. Julia feels terrible. Julia feels caught. There's a difference. Can we fix this? Can we make this right? I thought about Lily's face as she broke the necklace, about Julia's satisfied smile, about Mark's silence. Here's what would make it right, I said. A genuine apology from Lily that shows she understands what she did wrong. Not that the necklace was valuable, but that she was cruel. An acknowledgement from Julia that her comments were hurtful and wrong. And from you, an understanding that silence is complicity. That's all. Then you'll restore the scholarship. No, the scholarship is done. But maybe we can rebuild trust. Maybe family dinners won't feel like evaluations of my worth. You're really not going to help her? I helped her for 3 years, in secret, while being treated like I was lesser. I'm done helping people who don't respect me. He hung up without responding. The jeweler called Monday. The necklace was ready. I picked it up that evening. The new class perfect but different. a reminder of what had been broken. I wore it to work the next day, tucked under my shirt where only I could see it. A reminder that value isn't about visibility, that quiet things can be precious, that generosity without recognition is still generosity until it's met with contempt. My phone stayed silent for a week. Then Julia sent a text. Lily wrote you a letter. She asked me to send it. She won't let me read it first. The letter came as an attachment. I opened it expecting excuses, justifications, attempts at manipulation. Instead, Aunt Claire, I'm sorry I broke your necklace. Not because it was expensive, but because it was yours, and I was careless with something you loved. I'm sorry I called it cheap. Mom did say that, but I chose to believe it and use it to be mean. I'm not in the academy anymore. Mom and Dad can't afford it. I'm angry about that, but I understand it's because of how I acted. I didn't know you were paying for it. I didn't know a lot of things. I'm sorry. No begging, no manipulation, just acknowledgement. I responded, thank you for your apology. I accept it. The scholarship won't be reinstated, but I hope you continue dancing. Real passion doesn't need prestigious academies, it just needs dedication. She wrote back, I found a local studio. It's not the same, but the teacher is good. She says I have potential. Thank you for the 3 years you gave me. Even though I didn't know it was you, it mattered. I stared at the message for a long time. Then I wrote, keep dancing. Maybe someday we'll watch you perform, without judgment, with just family pride. She responded with a simple, I'd like that. The necklace sits against my skin as I type this, the new clasp secure but different. A reminder that some breaks can heal but leave marks. That value isn't determined by other people's recognition. That generosity is a gift, not an obligation. And that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let someone face the consequences of their choices. My niece lost her prestigious academy, but maybe, just maybe, she learned something worth more than dance training. She learned that cruelty costs, that assumptions deceive, that the quiet aunt in plain clothes might be the very foundation you're standing on, and that before you call something worthless, you should consider who's been paying the price for your dreams all along.